Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel. This is RED Dissection and we are deconstructing Manchester United victory against Aston Villa at Villa Park. It was a proverbial smash and grab by Manchester United. They were thoroughly outplayed for a major portion of the match, but in the end it was Scott McTominay's goal that gave United a stunning victory. Stunning because United haven't won in last 2 to 3 seasons at any of the top 9 sides. So this is not something that United fans are used to now or even expect. But United did get off to a great start. They were playing good football as well at the beginning of the match, and they got the goal through a corner. Harry Maguire knocked down, and Rasmus Højlund was there to finish the ball. Another good goal from Højlund, especially because he is a striker, so he has to score these kind of goals that happens, and he was Johnny on the spot. But Aston Villa dominated the rest of the first half. They also dominated the entirety of the second half. Apart from the last 10 to 15 minutes, I thought United were hanging on. Onana was making some fortunate saves. And United were just keeping Villa out. But they eventually equalized through Douglas Luiz. Stupid celebration for him, but that's what we expect for him. But United gave a response that we didn't expect. I didn't expect United to be calm after conceding. They were calm on the ball. They kept the ball well. They kept moving the ball from side to side. Eventually, with a wonderful move, lovely play from MAINOO on the right flank, then giving the ball to Dalot, who whipped in a great cross first time, and a perfect finish from Scott McTominay. The substitution itself proved vital. So kudos to Ten Hag for that as well. And McTominay over the last 3 matches, he's scored twice in 2 matches, and also gave an assist for Garnacho in the last match. So this is kind of a role that he can play in terms of impact player, and because he has got this goal threat, he should never be anywhere near the middle of the park. Should be near the box of the opposition and trying to score or assist, and that's what he has done, and shown that he has a role to play in that capacity. Of course, we don't want a big part player, but at this moment in current times, McTominay is our top goal scorer in the league. If he keeps on contributing like that, then long may it continue. Coming to statistics, I thought Aston Villa dominated the entirety of the second half, apart from the last 15 minutes. In the first half, United were dominated the first 10 minutes. After going ahead in the game, I thought United took the foot off the pedal. They were not able to handle their left flank of Moreno and Ramsey, especially Ramsey, who created a lot of nuisance for United, and they couldn't handle him. Especially, he kept on inverting inside. They were able to play through the midfield. They were able to play through the press as well, because United was using 4-4-2 formation while they were pressing. Their pressing structure was like that to counter Villa's 3-5-2 in attack. And for the major part, the forward lines were doing well. But in midfield, I thought Kobe Mainoo and Casemiro one up to scratch, especially MAINOO, because he couldn't handle Ramsey cutting inside. Garnacho was lazy as well, and a lot of threat came from that side. Moreno played well, but Ramsey was the standout player in the first half. Of course, he wasn't good in terms of that final delivery, and if he was on his game and in top form, then he could have taken a couple of chances. But Onana kept us in the match. I don't think many of his saves were by design. It was more luck and fortune, but he was there to keep the ball out. Eventually, they did get the goal from the corner. Our set pieces are terrible, to be honest, and we keep on losing the man on the back post, and they were able to capitalize for the Douglas Luiz's goal. But United showed a lot of cojones, a lot of bravery on the ball after conceding that goal, and they wrestled the momentum of the match, and they were able to calm down and play with the ball rather than with emotions. And I thought they kept the ball really well for the last 15 minutes. And obviously, they got the equalizer from McTominay, lovely cross from Dalot, lovely play from MAINOO as well. And these standout players were the ones who brought us the win. It wasn't expected, especially after they equalized. Villa Park was raucous, and United were, all throughout the match, they were on the ropes, but especially after conceding the equalizer. Inshallah, this is the start of something new, and we can see that even under adversity, these players can join ranks and can play as a brotherhood and fraternity and show up as a team. Coming to player ratings, I thought Onana was decent. I thought he made some important saves, not necessarily good ones, not necessarily good in terms of aesthetically, they weren't pleasing, but they were effective, and he was effective. His long range passing is still questionable, but his short passing game was good. I thought he was the one who gave us confidence in the back to keep the ball, and they weren't able to press him, those forwards, so that actually put a spanner in the works for Aston Villa because they wanted to press, but Onana, due to his ability and confidence on the ball, was able to, give us more options from the back, so he gets a good score. Godalo was, questionably one of the candidates for the man of the match. I thought he was really great in terms of possession of the ball. He was really intelligent with his inversion. He kept bombing on the outside as well with Garnacho. The only thing was they kept on coming inside, especially Ramsey and Dalo and Garnacho couldn't handle him on their own. And there was a lot of confusion, I thought, with the role Garnacho and MAINOO played. And Dalo eventually was faced with a lot of one-on-one situations. But I thought overall he did well defensively as well in terms of putting in interceptions and blocking the shots. So defensively he was good, but attacking wise he was exceptional. Especially the assist for the goal was spectacular. So a good game from Dalo. Rafael Varane was also fairly untroubled. He had some one-on-ones with Ollie Watkins, which he handled quite well. On the ball, he still looks shaky, but overall, I think he brings a lot of calm, especially playing alongside someone like Maguire who lacks pace. So he really complements that. Even with Martinez, who also lacks pace, Varane is somebody that plays as a sweeper and has the recovery pace. Even at his age, I think that he played really well and he's become indispensable for Manchester United. Harry Maguire also had a good game, just like Varane. He was dominant in the air, even more dominant than Varane. He was playing in the left centre back position, which he's not comfortable with, even though Ole played him on that side for a couple of seasons. But he lacks the mobility to turn himself around to be able to play that ball on his left foot. And I think he struggled with that slightly. Overall, I think it was a dominant performance for him, especially considering that he was playing against a forward line that is, extremely rapid. So I think he did well. He did well to not get into those dangerous one-on-one situations. I thought he had a solid game. Luke Shaw was one disappointment, I thought. He against Bailey, even though he wasn't caught, I thought he looked nervous. He looked because Bailey has loads of pace, so I thought he was circumspect. He wasn't bombing on like in the last match. Of course, it was an away game, so you can excuse that. But overall, I thought he looked shaky. He looked lethargic, and he gave a couple of back passes which were really shoddy. And eventually, he went off at halftime. So I presume there is an injury concern there. So he might have been playing with a knock. So if that's the case, then obviously we can excuse that. Casemiro again got an early yellow card. For the first 50, 60 minutes, he looked shaky. He looked worried about their pace, but I thought he kept his head well. He didn't commit to any of the challenges after the yellow card in terms of going to the ground. And I thought he remained calm. He kept a good head on his shoulders, and he wasn't rash after that. I thought he defensively he played well, screened the back line well. Uh, Obviously, with MAINOO, there is a fledgling relationship there. But what I have a problem with Casemiro is his quality on the ball, which he severely lacks. I thought he gave possession too many times for my liking, even without pressure. I thought his overall game in terms of playing from the back is really questionable. And I think he should play a little bit forward and MAINOO should sit a bit deeper. But considering that he got a yellow card for no reason at all, because it wasn't a yellow card offense, I thought he did well after that. MAINOO had a decent game overall, I thought, but his nice footwork for the goal really elevated his performance to one more point from my end. I thought he struggled in the first half, especially because of Ramsey's movement, because Garnacho and Dalo couldn't handle him, and also Moreno, who was bombing on the outside on the left hand side. But overall, it must have been a good experience for him playing against a well-drilled side like Aston Villa, with one of the strongest midfield in the league. I thought he did really well. And I think he grew into the match later on, and that's a testament to him as a person, as a personality, that he can, even under duress and adverse situation, he can keep his head and come out of it with a triumph. And his overall game is certainly coming along well. After that goal against Wolves, I thought he's brought in a different level of composure in midfield. Only thing I'll say is that he needs to be more enterprising, try to play more forward balls and not play that safe, because I think he is capable of doing that. So a good performance from MAINOO. Garnacho was really great, especially in the second half, especially when he went on the left hand side after Rashford was hooked off. I thought he was bright. I thought he was industrious. Obviously, he lacks polish in terms of often on a lot of counter attacks he becomes selfish and takes the shot when he should pass really, and that is a complaint that has been recurring with him. But overall, he's certainly a more dangerous player throughout the 90 minutes. I thought Rashford was really dangerous in the first half, but he is not able to sustain it over a 90-minute period. I think Garnacho especially has proven his fitness, because he's able to go deep into the matches and still come up with those passionate runs and really contribute on the counter attacks. So good performance from Garnacho. Bruno Fernandes was more sedated. I thought he was more calm. I thought it was one of his better performances overall. I even when he went on the right hand side after Rashford went off and Garnacho moved to the left flank, I thought defensively Bruno did well. He was always there trying to cover his fullback and made few good interceptions. In terms of his quality on the ball, we know that he gives away the ball too easily. But I thought overall he was more calm in this match, and I thought it was Casemiro who was giving away the ball more than Bruno was. He's somebody who's able to contribute in terms of the counter-attacking style of play, and that is his forte. But we need to see him more calm on the pitch, and I thought that was a decent performance, certainly in relation to what he's been dishing out for the last 6 to 8 months. So in that perspective, it was a decent performance from Bruno. Marcus Rashford, I thought was really bright in the first half. He was our most dangerous player. He was really troubling Cash, who got a yellow card also, and he was really twisting him inside and out. Bailey and Cash were trying to, go two-man on him, but he was still able to contribute. I thought that he fizzled out in the second half. He just didn't get into the match in the second half. He struggled with the offside trap, got offside a lot more times than he should be, because he can see the whole line across from himself. So he should be more careful with that. But I thought that his overall performance was decent. I know we know what limitations he has technically. I think the goals have enhanced his confidence a bit. I think he just needs to keep scoring. He seems like a player that needs to be scoring and be on the score sheet to feel good about himself. So, inshallah, he can keep adding more goals to his tally and be on this upward curve of performances. Rasmus Højlund I thought he was exceptional in this match. His hold-up play was something that really impressed me. His touch is lacking sometimes, but overall, I thought that he was able to dominate Carlos and Longley, who aren't really the best of centre backs in terms of physicality. But overall, I thought his game was great. He took his goal well. With Johnny on the spot, really clinical, and I think this is the type of goals that he needs to get more often, just to get around 20-25 mark throughout seasons. I think he scored like 5 in 5 now in all competitions, so that's a good thing to see that he's consistent, and long may it continue. Coming to substitutions, Victor Lindelof came in on for Luke Shaw, who went off at halftime. I thought he did all right, especially against likes of Bailey and then Musa Diaby, who are really rapid and he lacks space. But overall, I thought he did well. He got caught a couple of times, especially while attacking, because he's not comfortable going on the left flank, because he's naturally right-footed. But I thought overall defensively he did well. His job was mainly to fill that gap, because he's not naturally a fullback or a left-sided fullback. Especially Scott McTominay did what Scott McTominay does. I think he's a good option as an impact player. Overall, we know that he is not consistent enough to play in that team or start in that team. But I think he's proven in the last 3 matches. He's scored twice now. This time the winner, as well as assisted in the West Ham match for Garnacho. On the counter attack, he's got the physical power and that stature to fend off opponents, and I thought he showed that well in this match. His header was excellent. His movement, anticipation in the box. He plays more like a second striker, and he was playing like a second striker in this match when he came on. And Bruno shifted to the flank. So I thought that it was a good performance and something that he can build on. Inshallah, he can keep on contributing like this for more matches to come. Johnny Evans came on in late, I think 92nd minute. He was brought in just to make sure that we weren't conceding any chances from the crosses that they were trying to put in the box. He didn't have much to face or do because United were good in trying to diffuse the pressure that Aston Villa were trying to build. So overall, I thought he did okay. Amrabat also came in late. I think with Evans, he came in the 92nd minute. He didn't have much to do, just fill in the spaces, just keep constant pressure on the Villa midfield, and just clear the ball whenever they put in any kind of crosses or on the knockdowns or rebounds. So he didn't have much to do, but it was good that he got some minutes. And because with Casemiro, at the rate the Casemiro is collecting these yellow cards, so he might get a ban soon. So it's important that he is in the thick of things. And also Mctominay has contributed in an attacking sense. So we need somebody from a defensive standpoint to be on the bench and to be ready if and when the situation demands. So it was good to see him on the pitch after missing so many matches. I think kudos have to be given to Erik ten Hag, especially how he set up in the first half. He was trying to press with the 4-4-2 against the 3-5-2, and he was able to stifle them to a great degree. I thought the personnel were the problem because Garnacho, Dalo, and MAINOO within themselves weren't able to figure out Ramsey's movement, and that was a big problem in the first half. I thought his substitutions were on point. Obviously, he was forced with the Luke Shaw injury because we didn't have Aaron Wan-Bissaka, so there was only one experienced defender on the bench. So he brought in Lindelof, who did all right as well. So his substitutions did make an impact. Obviously, it was McTominay's goal that proved to be the difference. He certainly has put a lot of stock in Scott McTominay, even as a substitute and an impact player. I think the way McTominay has handled this, a lot of credit has to be given to Ten Hag as well. Yeah, how he's kept his player especially motivated, and considering that he was willing to sell him at the start of the season. So no matter how much flack we have given Erik ten Hag, and even in this match, we were thoroughly outplayed for the majority of the match. But the credit has to be given for how he made an impact through his substitutions and his starting tactics to nullify Villa and to capitalize on their high line and try to get goals on the counter attack. I thought if a forward line were more clinical and more composed in the final third, we could have gotten even more goals. Considering at the chances, I think we had like 17 shots in total. Ideally, we should have more shots on target, especially we could have gotten a couple of goals more if we were more clinical and more composed in the final third. So good performance and a good setup from Erik ten Hag. This year has started off well for Erik ten Hag, Manchester United. They look to have turned a corner really in terms of their results and performances. Playing against the likes of Wolves, West Ham, and Aston Villa, who are informed teams, he has shown that he can set up teams, especially given the fact that we don't have many games in midweek now. So he's shown that if given a chance to set up a team for an entire week, he can, come up with some kind of tactics and plan to nullify the opponents. I'm not totally sold on him. This could be very well maybe papering over the cracks because even in this match, we were the second best team for the majority of the match. And the one thing that did please me was the way we took on the adversity of conceding and them getting an equalizer late in the second half, especially at Villa Park where they've been dominant. They only lost I think twice at Villa Park all season. Once in the FA Cup against Chelsea uh, and once against Newcastle in the league. So they are a formidable side at Villa Park. I thought the way we reacted and constructed the second goal and our whole play around those 15 to 10 minutes, we looked more composed, we looked more, assured of ourselves, especially the way we build from the back in that particular section of the game. I thought that it showed that the players aren't totally clueless and they just need to be more brave. And Erik ten Hag has to take credit for that. And inshallah, long may it continue. Inshallah, this is an uptrend that will keep on continuing. Still in a shout for the top four, and looking at the forms and looking at the fact that these teams, the competitors, will play against each other in coming weeks, and we've already played against Tottenham and Aston Villa. Then it's a good thing that we are coming into a section of the season where five out of six matches are really winnable, apart from the City derby. which on the day we can also win, that we have shown. Obviously, it's at Etihad and they are going for the league, so it won't be easy. But I think if we keep continuing with this momentum and confidence, and we keep our players fit, that is important because Luke Shaw got injured. So we need to see how long he's out. Obviously, Martinez is out for next 8 to 10 weeks. So if we can keep the players fit and build on this and be more dominant in terms of taking our chances, then inshallah we'll see more victories like this. Please join us for the Red Prep Show for the next match. So until then, take care, do good, pray for Palestinians, all the oppressed people all across the globe. Assalamu alaikum.